All right, we have made it. We have come full circle. Podcast number 3 coming at you live from another fishing studios.
It's number 3's got to mean something. We've come so far.
It's over 2 and under 4.
Let's do it.
This isn't another fishing show. This is another fishing show.
All right, well, we are back. We're buried in the basement. It is late on what night is it?
I don't even know anymore, man.
It's a Tuesday night. I've been home every day. I haven't been outside in 72 hours. Part of that was Super Bowl Sunday.
Right.
We're in Minnesota.
That's
We're
right.
in the heart of Super Bowl chaos around here.
It's been crazy.
And then that led into Monday. I had a sick 4-year-old, which led into Tuesday, which I had a sick 4-year-old, which is leading into Wednesday, and I still have a sick 4-year-old. So I have 3 days where I can't even think about fishing.
So you have not been out of the house in 72 hours?
I haven't even stepped outside. I've only been in the garage.
So anybody out there that was thinking about having kids that wanted to still be a fisherman, this is right here. You don't
reconsider. It's been a really arduous sort of 3 days. Podcast number 3 and 3 days.
Yeah, I've got a dog. I mean, I can kind of relate.
Right?
Not really. I mean, this is terrible. You're like, you jerk.
You need diapers.
Yeah, I've got a dog that. This is why I haven't been fishing in a long time. I've got a dog that I can't even leave the house for 3 hours, and it pees all over the basement.
I don't know what.
So
to
we've
tell
got
you.
issues. That's going to be our excuse. If anybody's wondering why we haven't fished,
Right.
there's no fishing content. There's nothing happening. There's no fish on our Instagram feed.
Yeah.
It's because we haven't fished. It's
fished.
embarrassing.
I did get out on Lake Zumber, which is close to us in Rochester, and I actually got my first catfish through the ice.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have maybe seen Greg. He has a video up of catfishing through the ice, so you can catch channel catfish.
Yeah, and it's a really good. This might sound funny, but I'm not trying to be funny here. It's a really good bodied like catfish. You know, you can tell that. It seems like the catfish out of that system are eating well. You know what I mean?
And I was excited, but I wasn't able to catch a lot of fish. So the idea was to get out there a bunch of times this week, even after I put the kids to bed, and do a little bit of fishing. And my days just keep falling apart, and it's really starting to drive me kind of crazy. So we're kind of in that heart of Minnesota winter, stir crazy. Like you think, well, winter's not so bad. We can ice it, blah, blah, blah. And then you realize that it just sort of locks you down, and you never really get a chance to get warm sun on your face.
Right.
And he just came back from Florida, so he's had a little bit of a reprieve.
I did. I did fish in Florida. I didn't catch anything, but
You did?
I did on the beach there.
You just threw?
But it was, you know what I mean. It was like
1 in a million.
But it feels nice to cast.
So what did you rent gear?
I was with my in-laws. It was I don't know if you can call this a vacation, Pete. I was there with my in-laws.
I've met your in-laws.
No,
it's a vacation.
It's a vacation. Yes, it is. I love my in-laws, but they know how to party. Let's just put it that way. And no, so they've got a place, a condominium, right? I say the full word. I don't say condo. Okay, condominium. Right on the beach.
So what kind of rod did they have? What were you throwing? And they had a rod to throw in the ocean with what on the end of it?
It was just so they're from northern Minnesota, my in-laws. So they had like all the equipment. They just brought it down to Florida. It was a spinning rod.
That's so great.
Yeah, I mean, it probably had. I think it had like 14-pound test on it.
What were you hoping you could catch?
It was essentially I was using just a basic bottom rig, like a catfishing rig. And that time of the year isn't it's the water's too cold. Right. So there isn't much coming in. Yeah. But when the fish are in, there's like, I talked to a woman walking along the beach. She's like, oh yeah, I catch flounder. I catch,
like
what else did she say? Yeah, redfish.
Yeah. That's what I was down there last year. That's on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Me fishing in Florida, but it was kind of backwater fishing. I can't. Like casting into the ocean is kind of a heartbreaking scenario.
Yeah, so it was what I was doing was surf fishing. So the waves would come up, and then they recede, and that's when you run as close to the ocean as you can, make a cast, and then run back,
and then leave it, sit
and then
back.
just leave it sitting. And what was kind of cool about it is, man, the weight was only like a half an ounce, and I'm like, when I saw it at first, I'm like, this ain't gonna hold worth a crap. But then what was happening is there was a rip tide. So it was actually bringing it out
there.
So I'm like, perfect. So
I have that same disease where if I go on vacation anywhere, I'm required to at least get, a cast in.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter where it's at. I've done it in so many places I can't tell you. Like, I have a vacation streak of 12 vacations that were unrelated to fishing that I was able to find a pole and actually fish. I actually went to a wedding in Colorado that was in a state park in Colorado, had no fishing gear with me. I went to the front office. I was like, hey, how much is a day license in Colorado? And it was like $1 or $2, something crazy. I'm like, all right, well,
really?
I'll take one of those.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, so where could I find a fishing pole? He's like, oh, we got fishing poles you could use. And he gave me a tackle box and a fishing pole.
This is at the wedding?
This was at a wedding in Colorado.
Really? Like at the wedding, they were giving out fishing rods?
No. The wedding was in the park, but I went
at the park.
I went to the ranger station, and I was like, the guy gave me a tackle box and a fishing pole. I didn't even sign anything.
No kidding.
He sold me a day license for $2, gave me a tackle box and fishing pole. I went down to the river and started catching these giant brown trout.
Really?
Right next to where the wedding. It was brilliant. But anyway,
why the hell didn't you have the camera make it into a?
Yeah. This was before this fabulous show had become active.
Oh, okay.
So.
All right.
But I do think I recommend that to anybody. If you go somewhere on vacation, find 4 hours to go fishing somewhere. You don't really see a place unless you fished a place. That's the feeling I get from it. So.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, that's one of the great things about fishing is that where it takes you. You've said this before. It's like
it's the journey.
I mean, and you get. This is the thing that I really particularly like about where we live, is that. You can fish right like in downtown. Like, there's all these kind of, it's
downtown
great.
Minneapolis.
Yeah,
or
downtown
Minneapolis.
Rochester.
Yeah.
Yep. And so it's awesome to fish in these beautiful scenic, natural locations, but I also like the idea of fishing in an urban setting, which
it just exposes you to so much. Like when I got to Rochester, I was living in Owatonna, which is kind of central Minnesota, and I was fishing the Minnesota and lakes around Faribault, Minnesota, or heading up to you and doing some fishing, and I was ignoring the river, meaning the Mississippi, because it was always intimidating to me. But now the river feels like home to me. So you've got all these amazing towns. There's Red Wing and Hastings and Wabasha, Kellogg, and even like way up past the St. Croix now. We're getting up into Bayport, which is near Stillwater.
Right. Yep.
And like all these places I would never see.
It used to be called South Stillwater.
South Stillwater, right. And I would never see these places unless I was not looking for a landing and a beer to get before and after, or a bait shop, and you meet all these interesting people. It really is like... It's always a fun day for me, whether I get fish in the boat or not. Obviously,
the
fish in the boat is a huge kicker, but either way, it's just fun to get to know a place like that.
For sure. Yeah, no, and there's a ton of opportunities. There's a ton of opportunities. Like the Mississippi River, oh my gosh, the backwaters. There's everything swimming in the Mississippi River.
Everything.
And the crazy thing is, it's pretty much all of those species. If you find like the backwater here, little location on the main river here, there's basically trophy fishing for like almost every species on the Mississippi River.
This is all south of Minneapolis for the most part. I mean, you have smallmouth fishing north of Minneapolis up there, but when we get into this multi-species, the lock and dam systems start in Minneapolis and work down. And it's just like an amazing place. And Minnesota is known for going up north. And you can head over to the Mississippi, and it's all completely different rules. There's no seasons. You get, multiple lines because you're on the Minnesota-Wisconsin border. You get 2 in the Minnesota, 3 on the Wisconsin side, and you just need either license. So
Wisconsin's lawless. If you've ever been to Wisconsin, it's lawless.
It really is. You can just shoot at people.
Yeah, and people really drink a lot in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yes, and if you see someone in packer gear, you can legally shoot at them from the Minnesota side.
I had no idea, but but it's got to be from it's legal.
You got to be
Minnesota.
on the Minnesota side. You can't be on Wisconsin property, but if you happen to see a cheesehead, 100 yards away, and you have a rifle, you can take action.
Makes perfect sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can talk about this topic.
Nobody act on this, please.
No. We're exactly. I mean, we are so influential that we do have to put those disclaimers out.
I will say though, Wisconsin folks are obnoxious about wearing their Green Bay stuff, like in Minnesota. Like, I don't see any Minnesota people wearing Viking. I go to Wisconsin enough where I never see any Viking gear. But around the Minnesota, Minneapolis area, it's full of Packer nonsense, and it drives me absolute crazy. But Whatever. I digress. I was born in Milwaukee. I think that's part of the deal.
I know that's a weird thing. Like you're not. I mean, do we call you a Minnesotan?
I don't know.
Well, I consider you a Minnesotan, Pete.
I don't appreciate my mom for doing that.
Yeah, what's the deal?
3 months. I lived in Wisconsin 3 months.
Yeah, it does kind of like our friendship. I do kind of have that in the back of my mind that you were born in
my whole life
Milwaukee.
is tarnished.
That's where if you dude, Jeffrey Dahmer lived in Milwaukee.
I lived like a mile from Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment.
Did you really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm never gonna look at you the same, dude. I'm never gonna look at you the same. So if you're watching the video podcast, I just exposed myself. Not really. I'm wearing my Vikings shirt that I said I wanted to wear the last time, but the last podcast. But it was so dirty. I wore it
really
way too many
raw.
days in a row, and yeah, but now it's clean. So
yeah, and I've got this is by the way St. Paul Saints. Bill Murray owns this team. You can see St. Paul.
Great Paul Park and a great minor league team. But Pete, we had a really amazing thing happen to. We love Minneapolis. There was a huge event. You may have heard of it. The Super Bowl. It was in Minneapolis.
That was a football game.
Yeah, a football game.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the cool things I want to tell you, I haven't talked to you about this, but so I was in Florida, right? And I get back the next day. I did a shoot with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Okay, everybody, all these celebrities are in town.
More
for the
importantly,
Super
you
Bowl.
did a shoot with Adam Geis, right?
Right. So here's the thing. I mean, the reality is this. Yes, it's not like I know Dale Earnhardt
North Star
Jr.
Aerial.
Yeah. So my buddy Adam Geis, and if you ever are in the Minnesota area, Minneapolis, and you need aerial services, talk to Adam Geis, North Star Aerial. There you go. There's your plug, Adam. But so he called on me to help with this shoot that
So
he
you
had.
just got this call like a day before it happened?
No. It was like, I don't know. I think he contacted me like 2 weeks before it.
And by the way, not to get you off track, but was the footage I saw in the pregame the footage you guys were filming?
What did you see?
What were they doing? They were, I don't even really remember.
So you
Oh,
saw-
no, they were playing pond hockey.
Yeah. That's what we had shot.
That was the pregame of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I watched it. I watched the whole pregame of the Super Bowl, and
then
I never saw it.
And then they tubed live down the hill downtown. They built like a ski hill downtown Minneapolis.
Oh, I didn't see that
So they showed the pond hockey sequence, and then they went to him on top of the ski hill, and they did like an interview, and then they all jumped in inner tubes.
Did you see him ski Jordan with the dogs? Dale Earnhardt Jr. That's who you're talking about, right?
I think they only did the pond hockey segment. It was like a big kind of pudgy guy with a beard was with them.
Yeah, so okay, that's how they did it then. Okay, they broke it into segments, little segments
Probably.
like that. Okay, so
I didn't see all the pregame, but I caught that
So,
part, and I was like, I wonder if this was part of Greg's deal.
it was. So I'll tell you. So what happened is it was an early morning shoot. Got out there.
Cold, by the way.
Cold. Lake Minnetonka. We're out on Lake
For
Minnetonka.
a Southern boy, too.
Yeah, Southern boy. I was born here, unlike you, dude.
I'm talking about Dale Earnhardt.
Oh, and
Jr.
Dale Earnhardt, my bad. Sorry. Okay, my bad about that.
Just relax.
Okay, I'm just gonna try to. I need to work. See, I call it my idol set a little too high. I
Right.
think you know this, Pete.
I know.
You know me well
it's
enough.
good for radio. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
my idol. I have a high idol. I need to work on
By
that.
the way, I'm
but
drinking a beer you can only buy in Wisconsin. I just
Yeah.
want to point out.
it's one of the only. Not actually, I don't have a problem with Wisconsin. I mean, other than the pack. Well, no. Okay. Anyway, I don't want to get off on a tangent here. So
All right.
anyway, back to the shoot. So I get up early in the morning. The call time is like 6 in the morning. Lake Minnetonka.
Right.
Okay. And the first scene, what we're gonna do is Dale Earnhardt. It's the whole premise is Dale Earnhardt is in town. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is in town. He's retired from racing, which I didn't know.
And you know what his job is now?
He's a commentator.
With football.
NBC Sport.
Yeah.
Is he really?
Well, they were using him for football somehow, which I just thought was funny. But he's good personality-wise.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a football fan, but I think
I'm surprised by that.
I think they're just going to use him as kind of a celebrity, probably with anything.
Okay.
You know? Who knows
I
what he'll
gotcha.
show up as, but maybe he'll show up in the Olympics. You know, who
So
knows?
my job during the shoot, okay, was to be, and I was working along with Russell Heater. Russell Heater's a still photographer in town. He also does amazing videography too. But together we were working to get a lot of GoPro shots. You know, Adam was shooting with the drone, and Russell and I, we were attaching GoPros to everything that we could. Okay, so the first scene was Lake Minnetonka. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to go ice fishing. Okay, so I basically
and I was seeing this on his Instagram in a roundabout way, like the local press was reporting on it, you know? Because there was a funny picture of him wearing so much clothes you could only see his eyes, and his buddy was like, this is Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Right.
You couldn't see it was Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah. And so we meet up Lake Minnetonka, and they've got some guys, ice fishermen, that have caught some fish, and basically they're going to set up a scene where Dale Earnhardt Jr. is ice fishing.
Right.
And so my job was to get unique angles that could act like icing on the cake, if you will. So a shot, Dale Earnhardt is he's drilling a hole. Okay, so I get a shot. This is from my old days when I used to shoot a lot of ice fishing.
Has he ever been ice fishing before?
No.
Is he a fisherman?
I think he lives in North Carolina. I almost, when I worked at Bass Pro Shops, I almost did a shoot with him, and I think I believe so. I believe he's probably bass fishing.
He can't be a good old boy,
right?
Good boy without doing a little fishing.
Exactly. That's right.
Grab some black bass.
Yeah. Exactly. So I got a shot like of the what you do if you want to get this shot. This is a great shot. Drill a hole, then drill another hole. Hold on. You drill a hole. That's going to be your camera hole, right? And you get it.
You know what? I think I saw this shot though.
Did you? Okay, they used
the auger
it.
busting through.
Yeah, that's what I shot that.
But I don't know if that was a part of the Dale Earnhardt. I saw it before.
But then they used my shot. That's my shot.
That's your
shot. My shot. Yes.
Man, you were on the Super Bowl.
And by the way, that was my GoPro. That was my GoPro camera. And my SD card.
Did you get like a Super Bowl ring or anything?
No, I got nothing. I don't even know if I'm going to get paid. Adam, we need to talk, brother.
I did see that shot though.
Yeah. So
that's great because it looked vaguely familiar.
Yeah, I've done that shot a billion times, dude.
But I don't remember seeing him ice fishing. But whatever. I was drinking the whole day.
The shot is you basically you drill a hole, right, and that's going to be like your camera. And then you plan on drilling another hole that's like 8 inches away from that first hole. And that's the shot where you follow the auger drilling down. And it looks like, oh, my God, you're seeing it go through the... I did... That was like, I think that was really the only GoPro shot that I was able to get at that time.
So is NBC funding the whole operation then?
Yeah, so here's the thing. Here's the funny thing, dude. These guys are from New York, and they're all bundled up in like the most perfect.
They're out there.
They're out there.
They're producers.
There's two directors on this thing, and one of them I wanted to slap across the face, dude. Like the one of them was awesome. The other one was like trying to jockey. He's a younger guy, and he's like trying to. But the funniest thing, dude, he kept on coming up to us and going, put the GoPro on 60 frames per second. Oh, wait. No, keep it on 30. I'm like, dude, do you even know what frames per second is, dude? Get the, guy's in his 20s, dude. Oh my God. It was a corporate
No chance
crap.
he'll ever see this podcast.
Dude, I don't care. I don't want to work for a dude like that.
Right.
I mean, that's probably why my career suffers.
Yeah.
Because, I'd
guy's
rather be
yes
poor than work for,
Yeah, you're not a corporate yes man.
Yeah. So
it's my boy right there.
Yeah. No, it's not my speed. So anyway, it was funny to see everybody come out, and it's like, I've seen this before because when I worked, I used to do some stuff for ESPN Outdoors.
Right.
And all those people were from out east. And like in New York.
Yeah.
And then they were just thrown into, well, you're going to be in charge of ESPN Outdoors.
Right.
We're
going to give you the worst job possible.
Yeah. And they would show up in like Patagonia. Patagonia is a great company, okay? They make great freaking products. But they were like they would show up in like Patagonia, like everything like they tried, okay, I'm outdoors now. I'm like, dude, get the...
I've went to the outdoor store for just outdoor clothing
and the thing is,
in Manhattan.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
LLB.
And I had flashbacks to that time working with those kinds of people. Okay, but anyway, the shoot was a lot of fun. So basically, we did this ice fishing gig. Then we went to we went to the other side of Minnetonka, like by Lord Fletcher's,
right?
And doing snowmobiling. Did you see any of that?
No, were they racing or something?
They were just Dale Earnhardt was tearing ass around the lake, and I said, dude, I almost lost one of my GoPros. That little douche director goes, we got to get another angle. We, because he wants to act like he's running crap, you know? And so I'm like, I'm like, okay, I'm going to act like I'm I'm going to help you out there, little buddy. Right. And he wasn't actually a little guy. It was just, he was a lot shorter than the tall dude. So I just, we were probably the same height. So, but anyway, so I basically, I go, well, I'm just going to listen, I'm happy to be on this shoot. I want to look like a team player. I'm going to do my best to really try to give him a different angle, even though this guy drives me up a wall. Right. I want to, sock him in the jaw. Yeah. So I put this, he's like, well, first of all, these aren't these are snowmobiles that Polaris was nice enough. Polaris is a Minnesota company, man. They're nice enough to bring these Polaris snowmobiles down, and
they just get free snowmobiles because it's a big shoot.
Yeah, exactly. That looks good for Polaris, Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, these are brand new Polaris snowmobiles, and he wants me to take this 3M adhesive mount, and right on the. I'm like, well, that stuff is permanent, right? And so I asked one of the Polaris people, I'm like, is this okay to put this mount? And they're like, And basically this director comes over, oh, just do it, And I don't even know if they gave the go-ahead. I don't really remember if the Polaris people were like, yeah, go ahead and put the... Right. But it was put on there.
And it's like 0 degrees,
Dude,
right?
It's 0 degrees, right? And so I'm trying to make this D-bag happy. And I put this thing on. It's my GoPro. It's going on Dale Earnhardt's snowmobile. And it's supposed to be the shot of his face.
The GoPro hitting his face.
Well, that's basically what should have happened. Luckily, it didn't. Because, dude, Dale Earnhardt's tearing around a snowmobile, right? He comes back, done with that scene or whatever. Yeah. My GoPro is not affixed to the snowmobile anymore. Miraculously, it fell, right? But it didn't fall and break into a million pieces. It went into the windshield and just stayed there.
What?
Dude, my GoPro's $400, and I don't even know if I'm going to make $400 on this shoot.
And that's a hill of beans to Dale Earnhardt Jr. anyway.
Yeah,
like, whatever.
Yeah, $400, dude. He uses $400 as toilet paper.
So just to pull back the curtain a little bit, because I'm just trying to understand like what the shoot. So, like, they're just like, let's just get these guys driving around on snowmobiles.
It's these little package
the
segments.
Bold North.
It's the Bold North.
So
what's it like
fishing, snowmobiling, pond hockey?
Yeah, so it's not. It wasn't. It was broomball. So then we went over to Lord Fletcher's and shot broomball, and they didn't use any of our GoPro shots. Or like, dude, what people need.
Lord Fletcher's has like a broomball set up in front.
Yeah, have you seen it?
No.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been to Lord Fletcher's, not in the winter.
Yeah, so it's a really cool. They've got it's right on Lake
like
Minnetonka.
Multiple broom ball.
Yeah,
and then they have leagues out there or something.
Yeah, actually, you're right. I think there's like 2 courts or whatever.
Right.
And so yeah, they have a league, and he basically, it was the Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the other guy, which I can't remember his name.
That's the big guy with the beard.
Yeah, with the beard.
So what was his? How did he even know Dale Earnhardt?
Well, they're going to be co-workers, I imagine. They're going to be like on camera talent.
So he was just an NBC personality.
Yeah.
And there he's like, you're with Dale.
Yeah. And so they basically were on competing teams, and they had these local broomball people.
Because I saw them. They were picking teams.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he was the last guy to get picked.
Yeah.
But Dale was the first guy to get picked.
He was the first guy to get picked, but Dale Earnhardt is terrible at broomball.
Right.
Like, they were both terrible, but Dale
They
was
didn't
really
expose that at all.
Yeah,
they kind of skimmed over it.
They kept on trying to do a scene of, like, trying to get, like, Dale trying to get, like, I don't know what you call that in hockey.
A goal of some sort.
Well, yeah, but
he got
when
one
you're set up
legs.
where it's just the person with the puck and the goalie. What do you call that when it's one-on-one?
One-on-one, yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Breakaway.
Okay, well, I mean, when there's no one else allowed to
penalty shot.
A penalty shot.
That's right. So they showed the penalty
Dale
shot.
couldn't do it. He like 5, 7, 8 times.
He wasn't even hitting the net.
He was like
But he was wearing so much clothing too.
He was. And by the way, dude, Dale Earnhardt is listen, celebrity's ridiculous to me, but I get it because I do understand celebrity. It's I've worked with a few celebrities. Most of them are like NASCAR celebrities.
Ironically.
But
That's living in Bass Pro Shops.
Yeah, I worked with the guitarist for Leonard Skinner. Maybe you'd appreciate that.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
I did a muskie shoot with him one
Jimmy
time.
Johnson too, right?
Yeah, Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart. Right. And Tony Gonzalez too, which is
no. I didn't. I didn't do football.
Yeah.
No, but Wintercom, who I used to work for, did do a shoot with him.
Some shots with him.
Yeah.
Right.
But the thing is like, you know, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is really a super down to earth guy, super likable guy. He was nothing but professional.
Was there like interaction, or is there
totally? He was totally, dude. You know,
there's not like so many people there. Where
dude, he was just a regular guy and super nice, and I can't
seems
say
like
enough,
that kind of guy.
Yeah, I can't say enough good about him.
I'm not a NASCAR guy, but every time I see him, I'm like, he seems like a pretty good guy.
Yeah,
like,
and we all, it was kind of cool. Is we all then,
and he's our age. He's like 43 or something, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
So before that broomball scene, we had lunch at Lord Fletcher's, a cruise around. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s on the other table, you know, and
are people hitting him up for autographs, or they don't even recognize him because he's got all this gear on?
You can tell, like, the waitress, and I get it. I get celebrity. I understand. You know, like, everybody's kind of just, it's rarefied air,
right?
You know,
Everyone's
it's
like the Super Bowl's in town.
And there's Dale Earnhardt, you know, here's a famous guy. You know, so there's a crew.
So your entire shoot that day, I think he did the zip line too. They had a zip line.
So exactly. So that was our last shoot that day. So basically, we left from Lord Fletcher's. We went up 494 and 55. There's a really cool cross country park there. And you ever heard of ski journing? I already asked you this.
I don't think so. No.
So ski journing is this deal where it's cross country skiing, but you have a dog pull you. You have a dog pull you, dude. And it's the cool. It's actually, I was like, dude, this is awesome.
It's one dog.
It's one dog, and you think, oh, it's like a husky or something, right? No, they almost look like homeless, like dogs off the street that haven't eaten very much.
You can rent a dog or what?
These are like specifically bred ski journing dogs. They're like a cross between a greyhound, like a pointer kind of looking dog. You know, a dog's like
but
super
who
energy.
owns the dog?
Oh, so what happened is we meet up at this park. And there's a ski journing club that meets us there.
Oh, right.
So it's the I can't think of his name right now, but the other on camera talent,
right?
And Dale, and they're there, and they're like just ski journing. They're learning how to do it. And what was amazing, so Dale Earnhardt absolutely sucked at broomball, but dude. I couldn't believe how good he was at ski journing. I mean, I couldn't believe. I was like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be a good old boy, and he's like skiing like crazy, like the dog. You would think most people, when they had this like pulling on skis, like it would be totally weird to have a dog pulling you. You know?
Do you just hold on to it like a water ski?
No, you just have your you have your ski poles or whatever, and the dog's pulling you.
Is you like hooked to your belt?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like on a belt here.
So if you fall down, the dog just can't pull you anymore.
Yeah.
It's not like he drags you down.
But dude, I never saw him fall. He was ripping around. And I was I was absolutely blown away by it. And I thought he was so good at it.
And that's so great. They're doing a ski journing. Is that what you call it?
Yeah, like we do that all the time in Minnesota.
I've never heard of it or met anybody that's ever done it.
And that's TV magic. It's TV smoke and mirrors.
Bold North. That was the Minnesota theme that week.
Bold North, which is I think what we should like title everything. Like no, we're not going to say cold anymore.
Yeah,
and that's how you market. That's marketing. It's not cold, dude. It's bold
North.
Yeah, bold. Yeah, yeah.
It's brilliant.
Yeah. So the last thing that we did was the thing too, man, in every shoot, I'm not going to say too much here, but in every shoot, like, if people think it's so glamorous to on these shoots, you know,
right?
Every shoot,
it's a grind.
It is. In every shoot, it's I want to use different language, but it's a crap show. It's a crap show. There's always like everybody's going. Every shoot I've been on, dude. Every shoot, everybody's kind of going at the seat of their pants, you know.
Right.
And the last,
let's just try this. Or, let's just try this.
Yeah. And there's tension. Like there's tension between
there's
people.
Multiple opinions.
Yeah, like between not the talent. But like the directors and the guys
and we're
shooting.
not filming Schindler's List.
No. I can't imagine the tension on Schindler's List, dude. Right. That's a real. But every production I've ever been on, there's like, And it was this one was no different. There was
and
you're
just trying to keep your head down and just.
Oh yeah, dude. When I saw like conflict arise, I would just like doo, doo, doo. I would just.
I'm just stand in this cold breeze.
I'm Mr. Little GoPro guy.
Give me a holler when you need to go. Yeah. When you figure out what GoPro shot you need, let me know.
Yeah, I yeah, exactly. So the thing is, like, people thought we didn't have enough time to get to Nicollet, or you know.
My beer right now.
Yeah,
luckily I've got an extra beer here.
Oh, it's so brilliant, dude. That's
Another
so brilliant.
Wisconsin beer.
Why do you have? There's 2 glasses over here with just ice in them.
Yeah, well, one was Sprite and one was water earlier today.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
so anyway, the
fallen soldiers right here.
The tension at the end was we don't have enough time to get this.
Was the sun going down?
Yeah, and we were worried about traffic.
You still had to make the zip line?
Yeah, we had to make the zip line. The people.
It's chaos downtown.
Exactly.
And by the way, the zip line was a really cool idea, and it sold out in hours. They gave out 30,000 tickets, and you could zip line from downtown across the Mississippi in the middle of winter to the other side of the river.
So that's the last shot that they wanted to get. But these out-of-towners didn't understand that there's going to be crazy traffic at this, you know?
Right.
And so there was tension there. Oh, I can't.
They're East Coast elite.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's yeah. Dude, I can't handle it, man. But anyway, we made it happen. We got down there and just miraculously everything worked. Did you see the zipline deal?
No, I just saw Adam, the guy you worked with,
Yeah.
was posting on Instagram and
Facebook.
Facebook.
I had the distinction, okay, this is my claim to fame. I put the GoPro chesty on Dale Earnhardt Jr., and that was my GoPro. That was the point of view shot as he went down across the Mississippi River.
You got to retire that GoPro.
Yeah, no,
you can't use
sure.
that anymore.
Yeah,
just put that baby on a shelf.
Do they still bronze stuff?
We could just figure it out. I'm pretty sure I have that recorded. You might still be able to see
I'd like
your
to
GoPro.
see it because what's funny is most of the stuff that I shoot, I don't ever see it.
Yeah, that's funny. You didn't even watch it because I was sitting here watching it with my wife. It was on at 3 in the afternoon and the game was on at almost 6. So this is 3-4 hours before game time.
Oh, that's what it was. So, see, I started watching the Super Bowl an hour and a half before the game, thinking I might see it.
No. It started at 2.
Yeah,
something
that's
crazy,
where I messed
whatever.
up.
So, but I remember seeing the pond hockey segment thing.
Yep.
I think Greg was on this shoot, but I wasn't sure if you were. I knew you were at the zip line or whatever, but I just thought it was kind of funny. And then, sure enough, look at that.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't talked anything about fishing in the last, Do we need to talk about fishing in the pond?
We discussed outdoor, filming. A lot of people are interested. I think Greg has a great video out right now about filming from a kayak.
That's right.
But this guy's got a lot of knowledge in this sort of field, and I find it interesting because I kind of learn a little bit every time you chat about it.
Yeah, no, I
not
think
so much about figuring out how to get Dale Earnhardt shooting a breakaway shot, a penalty shot.
Right. No, I've been doing. It's like anything, you do something for a length of time, and you're like, okay.
Right. Well, I just appreciate the grind. So, for the instance of when I go out by myself, and I had 4 or 5 hours to fish for catfish the other day, you realize that 2 of that 5 hours involves you dealing with your gear.
Yeah.
So when you see these exquisitely edited videos that another fishing show puts up on their channel. Realize that behind the scenes, especially when they're solo shoots, there's so much downtime. Batteries are running out at inopportune times, and your mic is. I lost so much footage with my mic's not working correctly.
Yeah.
Or you realize that was the stupidest camera angle I've ever seen, and I let it go on all day long without thinking twice about it. Because you're trying to say, well, how hard am I fishing, or how hard am I filming? And you have to practice it.
That's right.
It's an acquired skill.
It really is.
Learning about what am I missing now that I'm actually fishing, but something's not right. I guarantee it. How do I fix it?
Yep. So and that's the thing.
It's frustrating.
It is. Just television production, film production in general it's incredibly when you see the finished product. Man, it looks
easy.
It looks
when
easy.
You see the finished product. Yeah.
But any video production is really labor intensive, and
the real work starts when you get home with that annoying footage.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the thing is, when we're doing solo shoots, man, and we're trying to keep a relatively high bar on stuff, and it's really difficult.
Oh, it's brutal
because when I shot. So if you've seen the kayak, how to film a kayak shoot, I shot or how to film. What is it called? How to film from a kayak. The last video, edited video we did. I shot that beginning sequence. Gosh, it was like, I don't know, like a month earlier.
You know the acting portion?
Yes, the acting, the Oscar portion of it.
It's kind of your thing now,
Yeah, I liked it. It's kind of fun to tell a little story, I mean, cut a little story together, I think it's kind of funny.
But it's work.
Yeah, it's total work. It's total work. And to be able,
And it's like 20 seconds.
It's 20.
But it's a great start.
It's 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And but setting up a shot, even this video podcast we're doing right now, to set up a shot without having a dedicated camera guy, like that kayak filming video, I'm overexposed.
Right.
And I'm overexposed because when I don't want to get too into the weeds here, but when I set the exposure initially, it was because I was kind of by the side of the kayak, not too close to the light.
Right.
So that was the exposure that I set. And so when I move up, I'm like, my face is like, it's like white.
And you're doing an educational video on how to
exactly on how to film. and it's complete. I'm overexposed.
It's
all my video, colleagues, that are way, better than I am. They're like, look at this amateur.
They're not doing solo stuff though.
Yeah, that's true.
It really is an art form.
It's a totally different ball of wax.
We kind of pride ourselves on going the extra mile for, production, which you don't see a lot on YouTube these days, but we still kind of come from that old school world of production feels good to us, so we just kind of, but you really kick yourself in the butt trying to do it. And the more cameras you add, the crazier everything gets.
Totally. So Eric Kolzinski, okay, Eric? He was one of the gentlemen in our first
the Rough Fish Roundup. Okay, right.
So he asked me recently.
Shout out to Eric.
Yeah, shout out to Eric. Seems we don't know him that well, but he seems like a really good guy.
I saw him this last Rough Fish Roundup.
Oh, did you?
He was the last guy I saw. I was throwing my stuff in the dumpster, and he stopped in his car and
So he commented he liked the kayak filming video, but he wanted to know if I'd be willing to do like an editing video, like how I edit, right? And initially I thought, well, that would be boring as hell.
Right.
But I think what he was, maybe I'm wrong about this, Eric, but I thinking about it more, you might be wondering how like we sync up the cameras, so we have those different angles, And so thinking more
there's
about
an art to it. I mean, just today I was just doing stuff and I probably watched 3 or 4 different YouTube videos on really specific things. Yeah. Part of it was stuff Final Cut was messing with you today, and I was like trying to figure that out too. But stuff that I was doing too. I mean, all over the place. There's great stuff on YouTube, but it comes in handy if you're trying to edit. Sometimes you just get stumped. There's so many different options on these editing software programs where you just like, well, what? You get stuck and you're like, I cannot figure out how to get over this hump because there's so many options on it.
Yeah, there's so many options. That Eric, I might, in the comments or something in this video, let me know if you're trying to kind of figure out how we sync up the GoPro cameras, because I think that might have been what you kind of. Now thinking about it, what you wanted to kind of see and how we, because we do a lot of that stuff. So I don't know.
Just remember, if you add an extra camera, be prepared for heartbreak.
Yeah. So here's the thing, when you add, I'm getting it. I understand it more now. So people vlog, they're using one camera, and they're on YouTube. It's all about getting another video out, getting another video out, and the easiest way to get videos out. One camera.
Turn in on your GoPro.
One camera.
You're not wearing a mic.
And you look at all of the big YouTubers. Most of them are using one camera, and they're going hey hey, and then they'll they talk, do the intro, they talk to the camera, and then like a Casey Neistat, he'll use that camera. He'll do multiple takes. He'll set that one camera though. It's one camera.
Right.
He'll set that camera up and he'll like walk through a scene. And then he'll take that same camera and he'll reenact walking through through that scene, but at a different angle, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And he's just reenacting stuff. Oh, he's totally
and like
brilliant.
I said,
but it's one camera, and it's my point is, it's so much easier to shoot with one camera than multiple cameras.
It just lays itself all out there. And you and me kind of date ourselves because we're used to that sort of production outdoor world. You know, I mean, you literally came from a career in that.
Yes,
but it was beyond that when we were kids, and we talked about this in the last podcast. This type of shows we watch have production value. So when we see kids, the way they're processing this sort of type of programming now, we can't believe it. We watch it and we're like, I don't know, like, who's going to watch this? They're like, 250,000 people have watched this already. And it's weird for us to think like that.
It's like
we have to sort of mellow out on the amount of production we put into it.
I mean, I don't want like the feature episodes. I still want us to be, you know.
Yeah, I still love the feature episode.
But they are. It's like climbing Mount Everest.
Yeah, it really is.
For two of us to work on it.
Like the way we operate with this is I'll take the raw footage and I'll edit it down into sort of a core, almost like a 2-hour show that he has to distill into 15 or 20 minutes. And both of them are just full of hours in front of your computer, in your desk.
Yep.
And it's late, and you just want to go to bed, and you get up the next day, and you're still thinking about it, and it's just like it really is a grind. Like,
it's a grind.
Oh my god! But don't get me wrong, we love it.
That's the thing. Like, I think
you have to love it.
I was thinking about this on the drive down here. It's like, why the hell are we doing this?
Right. Greg drives 2 hours, 4 hours.
Yeah.
To come down and do this podcast. Round trip.
But to me, the exciting thing, and we talked a little bit about this, don't want to rehash stuff, but the exciting thing about the internet is that you can make something that you believe should be out there for people to see. That you, I don't want to say product. It's not a product. It's something that you want out in the world, that you think should be out in the world. Yeah. You know, and now there's, you know, people can see it. You have the potential to reach an audience. So for us, I think we've had an idea of what we wanted to see in a fishing show, and so that's why we do it, and that's why. I mean, you know, it's fun to see people's reactions to it, like those feature episodes in particular. I don't want to be.
And it's fun to meet people. I mean, we've met a lot of great people that are in the same sort of, you know, genre of. It's weird. It's like there's a YouTubing sort of, and we always looked at it like, you know, we get these videos up on YouTube. We get to watch them the rest of our life, and that was a big bonus. But what's probably going to happen?
What did you say?
Sorry, I'm ripping through it, but it's a big bonus for us to be able to go back and view
see. I'm noticing when I'm editing. Not to cut you off, but don't hold your thought. But when I'm editing, so right now I'm editing Eel Pout. So we went to the Eel Pout Festival last year.
I'm sensing a criticism.
It is, but don't worry. I'll be soft. I'll be easy on it. And trust me, I criticize myself way worse when I'm doing this stuff, when I'm editing this stuff. But so we do interviews for our feature episodes, and I'm editing our Eel Pout Festival show that will be aired. We'll upload at the end of this month
to the world.
But so it's funny. I see little idiosyncrasies, and sometimes Pete will completely blow an awesome soundbite that I want to use because he'll blow through a word. And it'll be like
it'll slur right over.
It'll slur right over.
Are you sure it's not like the?
I'm like, I can't use that soundbite.
Is it beer induced or is it just I'm in a rush?
Probably, it's mostly beer induced.
See, I think the penalty is worth whatever it takes to get to that point.
Oh no, I agree.
But what I was saying is that we're kind of old guys, so happy that our videos are up on YouTube, but YouTube's probably going to go out of business in 10 years, and everything's just going to get wiped off the planet. Like,
it is funny. I've thought about that scenario.
You know how the industry works.
I know.
You know, like what really stays around for over 10 years. Even Facebook is evolving to older people, and then
I know, but I'll put it this way:
YouTube is a beast.
It is a beast.
And Google's a beast.
3.5 billion. The fact that Google owns YouTube, and I might be eating my words in 10 years, but here's how I think it's different. I think the model, that's the new model, and I don't think that it's going to go away because the new model is like. Just the fact that we all have video cameras now,
right?
And we all want to share.
But it's odd. There's not like who's in second place. Vimeo, but it's almost like they're not even the same sort of company.
Vimeo. I don't even know what Vimeo is doing. But you know, in 10 years, it's like Vimeo's a thing,
right?
From now,
I
don't think so. But
why isn't there another sort of?
Well, Facebook and YouTube hate each other. You can see Facebook is competing.
Yeah.
YouTube, they're. You know, here's what I believe. I don't think YouTube's going anywhere because there's so many users on there, and it's becoming, the more I see, it's like people are now openly admitting and not embarrassed to say they have a YouTube channel.
Right.
Like you know what I mean? Like it's becoming a legitimate thing.
It's less embarrassing.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we don't do cat videos on our channel. We actually are trying. You know what I mean?
YouTube TV was all over the Super Bowl too.
Yeah, and I think at least that model, like you can grow an audience on YouTube, and if something changes, you could potentially move that audience to another platform.
Right.
You know? So I think they got a lot of good things going for them. The idea of monetization, you know, and I think just in general, the internet, what it allows you to do potentially is you can grow your audience and grow like I said this the last podcast, I believe, you can grow a tribe, you can grow people that, you know, like-minded people, and grow a tribe together, and they could potentially, you know, they could support you in a way, in different ways. So that's in some, I think that's kind of our, if I don't know if you want to call it a business model, but that's kind of the way I think that we're heading. Is first and foremost, we need to grow our audience. I mean, I think doing anything before that is putting the cart before the horse.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, and I don't want to bastardize this thing. I don't want to, you know, put sponsors. I mean, to me, I want to do this organically, and I want people to feel like we're being honest with them and we're being real with them, and grow something from that.
Yeah.
You know,
and make it feel like we're kind of taking them with us when we're out there.
Totally.
Doing
I mean,
relatable kind of stuff.
Relatable stuff.
Yeah,
for sure. So, I do this all the time. At some point, I should probably have, like, you know, maybe put like I don't know, have like an iPad mini or something here where I can go through my.
We have a list, and by the way, we haven't even started.
Yeah, we have actually.
Have we?
Yeah.
Okay. Dale Earnhardt was on the list, I guess.
Yeah. Dale, we're doing pretty good. So
I'm actually. So far, the podcast length has been about a beer and a half by my clock.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So we're
your
doing.
Clock is.
I'm I'm
You're in a higher gravitational area, apparently.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, the way you put that.
Yeah,
Cheers, brother. Cheers. Now, let me have another sip here.
Yeah, this is America.
This is the, what do we call this
American Fishing Show.
We might rename this show the American Fishing Show.
We just realized he actually said American Fishing Show instead of another fishing show.
Yeah.
To start our podcast, and then we realized that may have been the greatest name ever.
It hasn't been taken, right?
I don't know. What's the North American Fishing? What is that?
North American Fishing Club.
Right. Yeah.
I could tell you some stories. I have a
they always sent out that sticker, you know.
When that came out, man, like I remember.
You remember that starting?
Yes, that's how old I am, man.
Is it still around?
I hope not.
I was like,
you know what a North American Fishing Club was to me? It was like, dude, you don't even try to be in Fisherman. Get the hell out of here. It's like you're so.
But they didn't have a magazine, did they?
Yeah. I had it. I subscribed for like when I was a kid for like 2, and every time I get a magazine, I'd be like, this is not in Fisherman. I was like, you are not. There's no Doug Stange writing the articles. There's no awesome, like, there's no Larry Topol doing the cover art.
There's just no meat in those pages.
I was like, it was so, I was just like, come on, enough. And what's funny is they were based out of Minnesota.
It was?
I think they're still around. They might still be around. I don't know.
We just lost a sponsor, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, goodness. I'm devastated. But I'll tell you a funny little story. So to get back on the Super Bowl thing here a little bit. So my wife, you know, she knew that I did this Dale Earnhardt Jr. thing. Is it okay to talk about the Super Bowl again? Are we going back? We're just freestyling this, man.
It's we go anywhere we want.
Exactly. It's beautiful.
We've got no
agenda.
Form. We have no director behind the camera over there.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Waving like this, saying, you know, we could just kill the entire night.
We should. Let's just kill it, man. Let's just kill it.
It's
wonderful. This is great for watch time, by the way. YouTube, the metric on YouTube is watch time, and boy, you know,
not great for edit time, but killer for watch time.
Pete's got edit these. But what I was my wife she's a nurse and she works downtown, and right by downtown, right by US Bank Stadium. And, you know, she heard that I was doing the Dale Earnhardt Jr. thing, and I'm sure, you know, she wanted to kind of interact with a celebrity or celebrities because it's cool. It was like, it was a cool thing having the Super Bowl here.
Especially in Minneapolis in the winter is not a place where you ever see celebrities.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Unless there's a concert coming through town or whatever.
Right.
But it's a amazing town, amazing city.
Love Minneapolis.
If you've never been there, you need to go see the city. Yeah. But when it gets to be January,
it's cold.
It's
bold. I mean, it's bold, Pete. It's bold.
It's bold north. Yeah.
It's bold is what I meant.
It hurts. It hurts.
Yeah. So she got out. She's working 12 hours. The Super Bowl ended, I don't know, it ended like 9:30 or something.
Yeah.
And she just got off work, and she was going with a friend to, some girlfriends to a bar, a poorhouse downtown, a bar downtown. Because she heard there was going to be a famous DJ there, but she wanted to see if, you know, bump into some celebrities. And so she tells me this story. She goes with her friend there. And she tells me she has this person that she kind of thought was like, oh, the guy kind of looks familiar, but I don't know. But here, sir, can you get a picture of me and my friends? Okay. So she's telling me this story. I'm like, that's it. You know, it's who knows who it was. And she's like, well, he kind of looked like an NFL commentator. You know, and I was like, well, you mean like a color commentator or a...
It's funny she even had that inkling, you know?
Right. So, but she's like, well, he looked like an athlete. He was a big guy, you know?
Right.
So she figured he was kind of a... So she's right next to me. This is, you know, the next day or something. And she's on her laptop computer. And she looks up... she's looking up, like, color commentators, NFL color commentators. And here's a picture of a guy that she's like, I think that's him. And I'm like, you think that's the guy? And then she sees another picture of this guy's wife. And she goes, that's him. She was there with it because this guy's wife had a really unique hairstyle. Right? And oh, yeah, I said that I said to his wife, I said, she looks like the lead singer from Roxette.
She said that to her?
To her, yeah.
It can go either way. I don't know.
So I said to my wife, I said, that's Kurt Warner.
The NFL
you had Kurt
Super
Warner.
Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah. I said, Kurt Warner took a picture of you with your friends.
My God.
You know? So I was just happy my wife was able to see a celebrity.
And that's that classic Minnesota thing, like, hey there, will you be happy to take a picture of me and my friends?
It's totally Minnesota. Yeah. It's totally Minnesota.
And then you realize later, oh, that's what celebrities look like, apparently. You know?
It's
at least sports celebrities.
It is, yeah, it is weird, like, when you're around, you know, and I kind of felt that way about Dale Earnhardt Jr. You know, there was an instance where... So this is at the dog thing, you know, with the pulling the skijorning thing.
Skijorn. Now that I know what skijorning is,
Dale was standing kind of right next to me, you know, and we kind of just by happenstance, like we're kind of looking at each other,
right?
And I was like, I don't have a damn thing to say to him.
Yeah, what do you say? That's the thing with celebrities.
But I was like, I don't want to say, well, what do you think of Minnesota? You know, like how many people have asked him that, and I'm like. So I just kind of looked at a tree, looked off at a tree, you know what I mean? And then kind of acted like I was doing something with the GoPro to get it ready or something.
Right.
But it was like
nothing. What do you say? Hey, I remember that time you were racing super fast and then...
Yeah.
You like took first place or whatever.
Remember that time when you're turning left?
Right, all
really
day?
Fast?
You just kept turning left until they give you like $1 million for it?
I mean, what I could have asked him seriously is, did you just pee yourself? I mean, that's an interesting question.
It's a thing. Yeah, that's what they do.
You know?
They wear something.
Do they?
Mm-hmm. I'm not a NASCAR expert.
Like Richard Christie. If you're a Howard Stern show fan, you'd know exactly what kind of reference we're making.
My favorite.
Right? Yeah. I mean, let's not get off.
They have some sort of outfit.
Like they're catheterized? Like catheterized? Is that how you say it?
I don't think a catheter, but It's some sort of astronaut sort of outfit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It just kind of suckles the...
You can't just be like, pull over to the outhouse area. And
right. No, but that was, I get it, like being next
I'm
to
glad you didn't bring that up with Dale Earnhardt.
No, I didn't say a word to him.
But
the only thing I said to him, to Dale Earnhardt Jr., was when we were up on the tower he was almost ready to zip line, right. I said... And he's totally bundled up, dude. It was so cold. I couldn't even see his face.
Yeah, you didn't know it was Dale Earnhardt Jr.
No. And I said to him, "Hey Dale, I'm Greg. I'm just gonna put this GoPro chesty on you." And he goes, "Oh yeah, do whatever you need, man." I was like, "This guy's pretty cool, man."
Yeah.
And the thing is, I touched him a little bit. I'm like, "Dude, this guy's worth millions." And I got kind of chills. I mean, it is that weird thing. It's like, dude,
I just got chills because that was the same hand that touched Dale.
Yeah, it's that right here. One of the other, both of them were used to put the GoPro chesty on them.
It is funny. Like, I don't know what to say. That's the thing with celebrities; they've heard it all.
I know. Yeah.
But what do you say to a celebrity about anything that's going to be relative to you? Really, the thing to do is to talk about something that's so mundane and out of the way of everything that's going on, and just hope that you can strike a vein somewhere. But
the reality is that a lot of these. I mean, it sounds cliche, but dude, they're human beings.
Right.
I mean, they do the same thing anybody does.
Yeah.
It's just that so the reality is. Some of them are jerks, but the general population, there's a large percentage that are jerks.
Right.
So, of course, there's going to be celebrities who are jerks.
They have a weird existence.
And
they have to kind of watch their back a little more than the rest of us.
For sure. And that's the thing. Like, he didn't have any kind of security. Like, one of the videographers was like, I can't believe he doesn't have any security. I'm like, well, you wouldn't know it's Dale Earnhardt. It's not like we broadcasted it that he was out here. Or anything,
he's wearing a spacesuit essentially anyway. Like,
exactly.
How are you going to tell who it is? So
that's I think we've covered the Super Bowl portion of this podcast pretty well.
I would say.
So one thing that I want to bring up, this is pretty exciting, is that I'm trying to line up a shoot with Pete Mana next week, and we're gonna try to go out and do a shoot for Lake Sturgeon on the St. Croix River.
Right.
And I wanted the Northwoods Angling guys. If you haven't subscribed to Northwoods Angling, subscribe to Northwoods Angling. These guys have been a few of them anyway have been pretty good to work with. Just kidding. There's a story there. We're gonna get to that.
Just kidding,
someday.
Blake. Just kidding.
Yeah. So I reached out to Northwoods Angling about doing a shoot because these guys really have like the sturgeon thing dialed in on the St. Croix River. Okay, between Wisconsin and Minnesota.
Blake is the root of that.
Yeah, anyway. Blake really has that dialed in. It's really, really interesting. Really, really unique. Northwoods Angling just did collaborations with these three big YouTubers.
Yeah.
So their channel is like, their subscribers are going up. And another fishing show's like, yeah, we're going to hitch our wagon to that train.
The Northwood Angling train.
Oh, yeah. But seriously, great guys like Luke and Jacob in particular have been so helpful just as far as like YouTube. Like
just being smart with the
like we're stupid when it comes to promotion, and we're getting better with.
And those guys go after
YouTube.
it too. Like they
really do.
They travel and then they make some great videos about some interesting fishing all over the country.
And typically, like the biggest fish of the species, they're going after.
Going after
their thing is going after the big fish. Our thing is like slacking and drinking and trying to catch a fish in the process.
Right. Trying to finish this podcast without sounding drunk.
Exactly. So I called up Mana. I've worked with Mana.
And maybe you should break down who Pete Mana is.
Okay, Pete Mana, if you don't know, he's a professional muskie fisherman, and he's very well respected in the muskie world. I've worked with Pete a ton. I first worked with Pete when I worked at Bass Pro Shops in the video department there. I worked with Pete a lot when he was with The Next Bite. I've done a ton of stuff with him. I've done been down to Texas for alligator gar, been to the Snake River with white sturgeon, a ton of muskie shoots. And by the way, the best here's a little. It's not a secret. Most of the muskie shoots that we did, like the best muskie shoots, were in the state of Minnesota.
Yeah,
that's right.
Right.
But here's the thing. when you work that much, like these muskie shoots would last forever and a day.
Being a professional muskie fisherman Pete is a muskie exclusive guy. Although he's a bit on the big pike, but muskie, like he's got a couple books out, right?
Yeah,
he's an author.
I'm in one of them. He mentioned me in one of them.
It's crazy.
Muskies suck too.
Right.
Muskies still suck.
It's a great.
I'm in that book.
The first one,
Thank you,
Muskies
Pete.
Suck, where he's holding his hair and he's looking at a tackle box full of tangled musky lures, is one of the best book covers I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But to be a muskie dedicated guy is so much work.
It is.
And then you combine that with a shoot.
Yep.
It's insane what
It's
the odds
insane.
are of just making. And Pete's a guy that has a motor, and I don't know him personally.
Guy's in incredible shape, man.
Oh my God,
Dude, he's in incredible
and
shape.
not just mentally. He's just like go. You
Yeah.
can just tell he's a guy that I'm ready to cast all day. I'll get up and I'm gonna cast until the sun goes down.
Well, here's the reality. I'm gonna be a little honest with you here, which I understand. I'm totally there. He's not exactly a morning person, which I totally appreciate.
Isn't that great?
It's so
a
great.
professional fisherman that's
But
not
dude,
a
he'll
morning
fish
person.
until it's dark
because
and,
he knows
and-
he can catch muskie any time
oh
of the
yeah,
day, right?
No, here's the thing. What's so funny? You brought this.
He's not a
reminded
morning
me.
person.
Think about this. This is so great. So talk about rarefied air. Being around Pete should make people feel like, oh my God, this guy's something. Because to make a living as a muskie fisherman, right? It's one thing. It's very difficult to make a living as a professional bass fisherman. Okay, it's really difficult to make a living as a professional walleye fisherman. Dude, to make a living as a professional muskie fisherman,
Name another one.
There's a few, dude.
I don't
but
even
he is
know.
so.
Is he in the
He's so
Wisconsin?
rare.
Is he in the Wisconsin?
Dude, totally.
Hall of Fame?
Of course he is.
He has to be.
Dude, absolutely. Yes. I mean, he's. My point is that. Do you know what my point is?
No, I never know what your point is.
You haven't had that many. Yeah.
I understand you more as the beer is.
My
pile
point is, dude, he's rare. Dude, he's so rare. A
Yeah.
guy that's making a living, chasing after muskies. It's so cool. Like, Pete is a really good friend of mine because I've spent a ton of time with him in the boat. Most of the time, dude, nothing is happening.
Right.
Okay? Little secret here. That's like most fishing shoots. Nothing is happening.
You just have a giant camera on your shoulder.
But especially
while
with
somebody's
muskie fishing.
ripping off muskie casting.
Yeah. So we talk about like life, man, and you get to really just get to know people.
Yeah.
And Pete, what I really always really admired about Pete, man, is that he's genuine. He hates the same crap that we hate.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, and
Wears him out.
He's just and I just appreciate that so much about the guy.
And he's so brilliant on camera. Like he could not be talking about fishing, and I could just watch him chat about anything because he's just got that sort of buzz about him. You know what I mean?
Great.
Like
He's great.
Is he like that off camera? He seems like he would be.
Yeah.
Like he's just like he just needs to be himself and he's fine.
No,
you know?
he's just he's down to earth. In fact, I spoke with him like at length, okay, about this shoot we're trying to do next week. We talked about politics and everything. We just talked about a ton of stuff. It reminded me of being back in the boat with him. And he's just he cannot stand he doesn't like egos.
Right.
He doesn't like egos, man. And I get that. I can't stand it too.
Especially in fishing.
It's like, come on,
We're
man.
all fishing.
Come on. Well, dude,
Gut
there's
check.
great fishermen, okay? And Pete is a great fisherman. But you don't check your ego. Check your ego, man.
Right.
It's in the grand scheme of things, this is a great big universe. It's really you being a great fisherman, anybody being a great fisherman is really like, who gives a crap?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Things in perspective. I just like that he's down to earth and he's a likable. He's just a real dude.
That's great.
You know?
Yeah.
So we're trying to line that up next week. I'm really looking forward to it. So hopefully we can work with the Northwoods Angling guys doing that because honestly, that's something I haven't figured. I haven't hardly even fished for sturgeon. I haven't fished twice, maybe once for ice sturgeon.
Yeah, just once. I've been out twice, maybe 3 times, but I will say that if we are going to be out with Pete and Blake is involved, I am not riding in that trailer behind his ATV.
No. So I'm getting to know Blake from another fishing show a little better.
No, from Northwoods Angling.
I mean, from Northwoods Angling. Did I say American Fishing Show?
Close enough.
And I'm getting to understand that Blake is a bit of a madman. You know, even like texting with him recently, I'm going, this guy's a madman. You know, Pete and I almost lost my hand to frostbite.
We were on. It was a flatbed trailer that he hauled the ATV on, and he was hauling us back. And I don't know how fast we were going, but it was 5-10 below zero that night. And I'll never forget, we're like ripping down the St. Croix, which was probably the best part about it when we're actually on the smooth ice. Because when we got to shore, I thought I was going to get ejected into Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But I remember you going, we're going too fast, aren't we? And we're not talking to Blake because he's in the front. And there's no way he's
miles away, basically.
And I'm holding onto a bar on the back, and my face is so numb I can't feel it. And I turn around, and Craig's sitting behind me, and I'm like, yes, we're going too fast. And I hold on for like 30 more seconds, and then Craig goes, we're going too fast, aren't we?
Yes, I had to make sure.
If we would have,
I had to confirm
we would be
with
violently injured off the back of that ATV.
It was not safe. And we're going to tell the story, the very awkward beginning of that night.
We need one of the guys here to tell that
We're
story.
We're going to wait until we can get Blake.
We even wanted to film the
Jacob.
reenactment of that situation.
Yeah, we will. We will. It was a very everything smoothed over, but it's a story definitely worth telling.
It is
through a podcast and also through a video reenactment.
Yeah,
you know.
Yep. No, so, when personalities collide.
Yeah. It was great. It was great. And see, the thing is, I don't try to shy away from if something like that happens.
Right.
Those are great stories.
Embrace it. And I missed the whole thing. I was at the bar.
Yeah, big shocker there. You were actually the whole reason everything blew up.
Well, if you were at the bar, I'm pretty sure I could have handled it better.
So, speaking of you being at the bar, look at how I'm segueing here.
It's amazing.
One thing that I'm getting a little bit concerned with is that...
My drinking?
No. Well, no, you're fine with that. I want you to stop doing that.
That's great.
So, you've been out fishing for a few times without me, right? You've been trying to... I'm seeing a little bit of trepidation in your face because you don't know.
I don't know where you're going.
You don't know where this is going.
I've been out fishing without you?
A few times.
I mean, almost all my fishing is done without you.
Right. So when's the last time you caught a fish?
Last Wednesday. I caught my first cat through the ice.
Okay. So
yeah, no, listen, I'm not going to deny that I'm bad at ice fishing.
Okay.
But part of my problem is that I have so much to cover that I'm just like, I don't even know where to start, you know?
Right. So I'm just beginning to get a little concerned. I think you need me, brother. I think you need me.
You should be concerned that
I think you need me, dude.
You're in a fishing show and your partner doesn't know how to catch fish.
I'm still fighting pneumonia.
If I can defend myself, okay. So I've been out in the Mississippi a couple times this year, and I'm caught some sunnies and perch and crappie and whatever. And then, oh, by the way, the last time we went fishing together, you got skunked and I got the only fish of the night. I would just like to point out. Okay.
What was it?
Oh, you don't remember?
What were we going after? What were we going?
Catfish.
What did you catch?
A crappie.
Okay. It was a total. It was a total incidental catch.
It was not an incidental catch. I watched him come up. It was an amazing hook set. I could have done.
It was like a paper chip. It was like it was a potato chip.
Right. And yeah, so I'm trying to figure out catfishing through the ice on a reservoir that I don't see anybody fishing through for catfish through the ice. We do see evidence of it, but so I'm trying to get out because it's close to home and learn as much as possible. But ice fishing is kind of a beast. Unless you're a sun fisherman or a crappie fisherman.
A sun fisherman?
Yeah, there is such a thing.
You're actually fishing for the sun?
I guess. I see it all the time.
I've never heard of a sun fisherman.
As we mentioned last time, a pile of dead sunnies on top of the ice.
Oh,
those are sun fishermen.
I just hit the mic, sorry.
That's all right. But it really is like, if you're not pan fishing, if you're really targeting eyes in southern Minnesota, good luck. Pike, I don't know. You got me. Like,
yeah.
Set up a bunch of tip-ups.
So like just a much more of a population down here.
Yeah. So for me, I'm a good trout fisherman, but it's tough in the winter, and I haven't even actually tried one here yet this winter. but I'll be back out again. But I'm with you.
I don't. Yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up just to razz you a little bit. But there is a bit of truth in it. I think you need me. I think we. You know what? We're better together.
We are better together. But you didn't catch a fish last time we went fishing. What's next on the list?
Again, it was a potato chip.
It was not a potato
chip.
It was a decent
incidental
sized
catch.
crappie.
It was an incidental catch. It wasn't the targeted.
It was
species.
an eater. It was an eater.
Okay, so what was it? We were griping the last podcast about things that we drive us crazy about the fishing industry, and I forgot one. I forgot one, dude. That this really needs to be said. Okay?
Controversy.
And this is important.
It's a doozy.
Okay, so and I want you to bring this up, okay, on the laptop here because you're gonna see a ton and you're gonna laugh
On the American Fishing laptop.
Yes. Yep. So there's this phenomenon that's happening here lately of professional anglers calling themselves athletes.
Oh no!
Have you seen this?
No. How do I Google this?
Okay, so luckily we're not going to talk about what anglers. Okay, but I'm just gonna. Maybe we will. I mean, it's so for a good way to do this is bring up Facebook, and I'll just start. If you can call the only professional fisherman that I think you can call an athlete is Kevin Van Dam. If we're gonna call an angler a professional or if we're gonna call a professional angler an athlete, Van Dam's the only one that makes the cut.
You may not want to count Pete Mena out of that deal.
Okay, yeah, I could, but let's see if Pete Mena calls himself an athlete.
Hold on, I don't know my Facebook password.
Oh my goodness,
this is my kid's laptop.
It'll be interesting. I hate to call out. I can consider Pete Mena an athlete. Okay, but I'm going to show you some.
I think any musky fisherman should be considered an athlete.
No, I can tell you. I can show you. No, dude ain't an athlete. So it's Pete Mena. Yeah, I can. Pete Mena, we can call Pete Mena an athlete. Right. We can call Kevin Van Dam an athlete. But there are guys that I don't know how to.
What am I looking for?
Let's go. Okay, how do I do this? Not to. Yeah. Like I mean, the big part of my career is fishing show. Okay. James Watson is a really, really funny guy. He fishes the Major League Fishing circuit. Funny dude. Okay, but. James Watson is not a guy that anybody would say is in shape. What does that say right there, Pete, on his Facebook page?
Athlete.
Okay. Come on, man. Come on. Okay. And the reality is that every professional angler is calling themselves an athlete. Guys, come on, man.
Let me give you the Webster dictionary definition of an athlete.
Okay.
And then, I'm not saying...
You have the Webster... Okay, go ahead.
I'm not saying I disagree with you.
Okay.
I'm just going to put this out there. A person who is trained or skilled in exercises, sports, or games requiring physical strength, agility, or stamina.
Exactly. No. They don't.
None of those?
No.
What?
No. So basically,
agility, like stamina. If you're
physical strength.
Well,
okay, so it's or, right? Okay, stamina. Come on, physical strength, agility, or stamina. You look at James Watson. I can't contribute. I don't attribute any of those things to James Watson. And I like James Watson. I'm not knocking him.
Doesn't stamina involve being on the lake all day against all odds?
Okay, I would say. Okay, so that definition, if it meets one of those, then we're saying they're an athlete. Is that correct?
I think so. It says. Let's review it.
Okay.
A person who is trained or skilled in exercises, sports, or games. Right. So is fishing an exercise, a sport, or a game?
I'm the first one to say that bass fishing is a sport.
Did the sport,
it's just not an athletic sport.
Did the sport come before the athlete, or did the athlete come before the sport?
It's like a chicken or the egg thing.
Okay. So assuming we can call fishing a sport or a game, it doesn't seem like either of those. So right there, it seems probably out of the realm.
I personally believe that bass fishing is a sport.
Okay, well,
I do believe that.
Well, that being said, then you would need to have physical strength, agility, or stamina.
Okay, now you're getting this off of Bassmaster.
Well, he's giving us the Webster definition.
All right. Well,
It's Webster.
Stamina. I mean, okay.
And look at this pudgy guy that wrote the article.
Yeah, there's a pudgy guy that wrote the article, and I'm sure he considers himself an athlete.
He's wearing an orange. He's wearing an orange shirt with corporate logos all over it.
I guess you can. Are you physical? I mean,
you don't need physical strength,
dude. There's so many guys that are overweight doing this, and you're talking. What's their stamina?
We don't need physical strength. Okay,
what's their stamina?
Although, the first time I ever needed physical strength while fishing was when I was trying to take a picture with that ridiculous sturgeon I caught at the end of this year.
Right.
You know.
Right. But in bass, you don't have that.
No, there's
no physical strength in bass fishing.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Okay. So agility, like where would agility come into play in fishing?
No, guys fall out of the boats all the time.
Yeah.
There's no agility. I mean, there's some bass anglers that have, because of the rough boat rides, they've had all of their spine fused. They can't even, they look like Frankenstein.
Which is a perfect reason why you don't need a giant motor on your boat. Okay, and then so strength and agility, whatever. Then stamina. Where does that come into play?
That's the only thing that's hanging me up. Because stamina,
it's more like stubbornness in fishing, but
the stamina to me in this definition is like really kind of more pertaining to running a marathon.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I'm not saying that it isn't intense, like
it's not
fishing
specific
all day.
Stamina, it's just stamina.
Are we calling? Listen. Okay.
It's one of the great philosophical moments on another fishing show podcast.
I see like stamina is a word that's thrown around a lot. You see it in like what are the purple pill commercials? What is it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Come on, man. That definition leaves the door open. That's Webster's version. I have a problem.
Is fishing a sport?
I believe bass fishing is a sport. And I believe bass fishing is a sport. It doesn't have to, if you look up sport, you can look up the definition of sport. It doesn't have to be athletic. A sport,
but
because it takes skill. It takes, especially like to be able to cast, like be a good caster.
What about fly fishing?
I believe fly fishing. Well, the reason why I might not call fly fishing a sport is because with bass fishing, you have competitors. I'm talking competitive bass fishing. Hold on, let's put it this way. I'm talking like competitive bass fishing is a sport.
Right.
Okay. I would probably consider if there was a competition with fly fishing, because fly casting takes tremendous skill, and I would probably call fly fishing, if there was a competitive fly fishing, a sport as well.
Right. So
but,
there's really, you don't think there's any other type of fishing you would consider a sport?
Oh no, I don't think, this is gonna get me in hot water. I don't think that walleye. Here we go. Competitive walleye fishing is harder for me to consider a sport because it doesn't take. That doesn't mean the people that aren't good don't have talent. They do.
Off, trolling takes out any resonance of sport, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like for bass, competitive
even if
bass,
it's competition, if you're trolling, you're not in a sport.
That's what's kind of the hardest part for me to get past walleye fishing and call it a sport, is because with bass fishing, here's the reality, man. If you're not a good caster, there's times where you've got to be dude.
Pitching.
And that's dexterity. I didn't say that's not athleticism. It's not athleticism, but
right.
it's
agility, right?
Agility. I can't call. It's like, dude, okay. Is John Daly an athlete?
Yeah, he is.
Is he?
He is.
Is John Daly an athlete?
Like the golf thing falls into that bowling category. Like, is that yeah? I think golfing is. You need agility and you need stamina and you need strength to be at the top of a golf game. I would say you need all three of those.
My hang up is I look at so many of these bass guys, and in this day and age, there's way more bass fishermen who are in shape. But when I see a bass,
and way more golfers too.
Yeah, that's true. But when I see a bass guy he has a Facebook page, and
claiming to be an athlete.
He's just soft. He's soft all over.
So I think the point.
It's hard for me to say that person's an athlete.
I think the point you're making, and it's a valid point, is that fishing can be a sport if it's the right sort of presentation.
Well,
it's not exclusive to bass fishing, but fishing is a sport. If there's probably a bunch of fishing we don't even know. Somebody on the Amazon probably is living in a tribe and like is an amazing athlete to survive while they're fishing.
The sport of it means there's a competition. There's rules. You know that, and there's skill with casting and placing. You know, there's a lot of stuff involved.
Yeah, I don't know if you have to be in so let's say there was no competition in if there was no sanctioned tournaments at all in fishing. No fishing would be considered a sport.
I have a harder time calling it a sport. Then I think it does. You know, it doesn't need to be a sport to be legitimate. It's just I think fishing, you can call that then just a fantastic pastime. To me, the best pastime.
Right. And by the way, I don't care what they call it.
I mean,
I think it is funny though seeing a guy call himself an athlete.
I have a hard time when I see it. I chuckle every time I see it.
I chuckle when I see bowlers or even golfers to some extent, but you get into fishing, it gets a little weird. And why do you even need to call it a sport? Like,
why do you need to call yourself an athlete? Just go, okay,
Yeah. Like I totally beat the system. I'm fishing for a living,
exactly.
Just roll with it.
Pete, I think to end this podcast, I think the last thing that we should talk about, there's a little bit of controversy here in the ice fishing world, okay? And this is sport related. Is a competition, an ice fishing contest, a sport?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ice fishing as a sport is really funny.
That's just kind of a stretch, right?
That's great.
Okay. Well, so you know more about this than I do. There was some controversy.
Not the first time there have been controversy. So the biggest ice fishing contest in the world, I think, is on Gull Lake in Brainerd, Minnesota.
You were wondering what state it was in?
No, I was thinking about something else.
Do you know where you're at right now?
I'm slowing down. It's almost midnight, and we were going to go fishing tonight. That's obviously not going to happen, by the way.
Oh, well.
So Gull Lake is kind of a joke at this point because, traditionally, it was a famous fishing lake. Now it is packed with giant, overblown houses, giant, water skiing boats, jet skis. The fishing is not that great, but they do a really great job. It's like the JCs of Brainerd promoting this massive tournament. And I can't even tell you the numbers of people that show up there, but the prizes are amazing. And it's like 200 deep. The top prize is a pickup truck, and then it just kind of goes down from there. But even the top 50 prizes are amazing. So in the past, they've had controversies with people claiming first prize that they are debating whether that fish was actually caught in Gull Lake, right?
Okay.
So this tournament just happened a week or two ago. I don't remember when it was, and I just read about this in the paper. So, and to show you how great the fishing is at Gull Lake these days, I think like 80% of the tournament entries were tubulies.
Oh yeah, so a tubuli is it's a Tullaby.
Tullaby.
I was like, I think Pete's
I've never
saying this
fished
word
the old
wrong.
Tullabies.
Yeah, Tullabies.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't remember what the how many. It was something like 100. The 150 out of the 200 places were tubulies. Am I saying it right?
No.
Tullabies.
Yep.
Thank you. So the winner was a northern pike that weighed just over 3 pounds. Right.
Okay.
And
just over 3 pound northern pike.
Won the tournament, right? Which makes it even more interesting to me that they're saying, well, did this guy, why would you bring a 3 pound fishing and this thing's going to win me a pickup truck? You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So maybe he caught it 2 lakes over, whatever. So he caught fish that got first place. One of the people in his group got the third place prize, which was like an ATV or something ridiculous. And then they also had the other guy in their group place like 98th. And they were all from Ohio. And this is the same thing that happened the last time there was controversy. Somebody came over from Wisconsin, and they say for you to claim your prize, you need to take a lie detector test. They've instituted this as part of the ruling system.
Yep.
I believe the last guy that claimed it actually did not pass the lie detector test, and I think he had claimed he had won the tournament twice, and they ended up taking some prizes away from him.
Yeah.
So they threatened these guys with the lie detector test. They said they'd be willing to take it.
Okay.
But here's my question. If you're going to rig the system, and he claims he saw a guy catching some pike And he was fishing close to him, and he's like, well, you got to lift your rig up to, 10 feet because you're on the bottom of the lake. He got it up to 10 feet, caught a 3-pound pike. It sounds perfectly reasonable.
Sure.
So why would you bring in a 3-pound fish thinking you're going to clean up at a tournament? I think traditionally the fish has been 5 or 6 pounds. Sometimes it's a walleye that wins it. Sometimes it's a pike that win it.
So he didn't have any. So let me get this straight. So the tournament, the fishing was so bad that all that was being weighed in were like tulibies and nothing bigger than maybe like a panfish or something.
Right, which isn't...
Now, do they know what's being weighed in, or is it only the tournament officials? Like, are you trying to say, like, why would he weigh in a 3-pound pike?
No, I'm trying to say if he was going to try and steal a pickup truck, which essentially is what you're doing...
So what do you have to do to win that the biggest fish?
Biggest fish.
Okay.
So why wouldn't you bring in... like a 7-pound fish from somewhere. Like looking at the history of the tournament, it's usually a 5 or 6 pound fish that wins it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Doesn't he know that, wow, this year sucks? This 3-pound pike is going to win it for me.
But if you... Are you saying if he brought the pike with him in a cooler? Or what are you saying his scenario is for having the northern pike with him?
Well, he's competing in the tournament, correct?
Right.
Okay, so why? I mean, he's got a fish. He's going to weigh a fish. It's like our eel pout deal. We when we fished the eel pout festival last year, we didn't have any big fish, but we still weighed them.
Right. But right. I'm not saying that didn't make sense. But if you were trying to cheat. And I'm almost defending the guy, I think.
Okay.
If you were trying to cheat, why would you cheat with a 3-pound pike?
Because that's all you could catch. Oh, I see what you're saying. I got what you're saying. So
they claim the last guy brought the fish from Wisconsin.
Supporting him. I get what you're saying. Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Like, why would they?
It is suspicious that his buddy got 3rd place, and I don't know what the weight of that fish was.
Okay.
But if you're really trying to win the tournament and you're like, well, we're going to cheat to win this tournament, why are you going to do it with a pike that weighs 3 pounds? Why not bring in something that 6-7 pounds or an eel pout or go over to Walker, catch an eel pout, bring it back?
So they busted these guys, right? How did they bust
You
these
don't
guys?
really bust them.
So they take the truck away?
Yeah. So the guy, they haven't yet. So
okay, sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
So I don't think he's actually claimed first place prize yet. But for some reason, I think the 3rd place guy brought his home with him somehow.
Well, why are they accusing these guys of cheating?
I don't know. That's where this is. I'm hoping someone can explain this to me.
Okay, so guys, if you know, put it in the comments.
Right. So what triggers the people to go? Is it because he's got a buddy that took 3rd and they're from Ohio? Or was there somebody...
So did they fail the polygraph?
They never gave it to him. They said, well, we can give you a polygraph. You're going to take your prize. And then they said, we'll take the polygraph. But why would you make a stink about somebody that won your tournament? There's something here not being told to this story.
Right. So do you know everything, the latest on this?
No, because I haven't. The only article I seen was there was controversy, and then I haven't heard anything else about it. And the last time this happened was the same guy, and it was twice on the same tournament over 2 or 3 years. And there was an evolving situation where this guy kind of got chipped away at, he's kind of got a background where it's kind of shady, and then...
So it's the same guy.
So this is a new group of guys.
But are they affiliated with the guys that have cheated in the past?
No.
But they're all from Ohio.
Yeah, or something, somewhere in the Midwest. But what's triggering the committee to go, these guys are shady? Because there's nothing out there that says something doesn't seem right that I'm hearing yet,
Interesting.
Yeah, it isn't like that.
They didn't fail, or they didn't take the polygraph.
They didn't take the polygraph, but they said they would.
Yeah, I mean, from what you're telling me, and I don't know the full story, this is a situation where I would think that the people being accused really have, and again, I don't know this I don't know the story.
Yeah.
But what you're telling me is, I would say those guys have an argument that I would lawyer up. And I would be like, dude, give me my truck. I caught a 3-pound pike.
Well, I think they have to give them the truck. If they're willing to take the lie detector, they either have to give them the lie detector or give them the truck.
Okay.
But it's just funny that they're getting smeared in the papers. Like, I don't understand what triggered it. You put on this big tournament.
This is going to ruin these guys' careers as professional ice fishing.
We need to have this is going to be like fish DNA testing of some sort. They're going to be able to trace it back to its heritage if you don't catch a Brainerd area DNA fish.
That's the thing. It's such a huge contest, man. I don't know how you make that a bulletproof thing to be able to prove, like...
In the way he tells the story, the guy that they're accusing of this, you know, he says, well, I wasn't catching anything, and the guy next to me was like, you got to get it up to 10 feet, and you're going to catch fish, and he did. So doesn't he have a witness?
You're right.
You know,
yeah,
like,
so a guy not in his group?
A guy not in his group. He just saw a guy catching fish, and they were kind of in their own area of the lake. It's like I can't remember. It was like 2 square miles or 2 acres. It's a pretty wide open area, but there's so many people. It's got to be elbow to elbow.
It's so
you can't
ridiculous.
get away from the people. You know?
Yeah, it's that's definitely not a sport.
Yeah, no kidding. But let's just say I'll be interested to watch how this story develops, because this is like the kind of drama in fishing that I find hilarious, because it really is just gambling at some point.
And don't get me wrong, dude. There's so many scumbags in fishing that cheat, and they've like in bass fishing in particular. When I used to shoot bass tournaments when I lived down in Missouri, there was a guy that was cheating in these regional events. Regional events? Did I'm starting to slur my words like you? And just kidding.
I still understand you.
Dude, this guy, what he was doing is he was basically caging up bass, and he would
in the lake that the tournament was on.
I understand what this guy was doing.
That's brilliant.
Check this out, man. It's really smart, because I've had bass in an aquarium before. I think that this is what this guy was doing. He would catch bass, and he put them like at the end of a dock, you know, in a cage, but it had a little hole opening, right? And these bass would be in that cage for like a week, and they haven't eaten anything. Okay, like maybe not a week, but 4 days, whatever.
Right.
But they're hungry.
But whose dock is he doing this on?
Dude, it doesn't matter. You cover at night, you know. You just kind of place it a little bit low, you know. And some of these docks in Missouri, man, they haven't seen foot traffic in 35 years, you know. And so what happened is this guy would just like, I'm thinking this is how this guy did it. He would just pitch a jig, you know, into that little basket, but it's just subsurface, right?
Right.
And there was camera guys on them, so and you couldn't tell because it was coming. They'd set the hook, and it was like, oh, he's wrapped up, and then he'd come out of the hole of the cage.
See, I think if you go through
but
that
dude,
much...
those bass are hungry. Bloop, that jig comes in, and it's a 5-pounder because he, you know.
Can you imagine the balls? At least I respect that guy more than I would anyone trying to scam.
I would respect. He was a real dude.
I know what you're saying, but I mean, it's just that that takes gumption to like.
Yeah, I hear
if people are watching, just figure out a way to catch fish in front of people.
I mean, dude, I'm so glad. Listen, it's like I don't have a lot of things going for me, okay? But I got a lot. Actually, let me tell you something. I got a lot of things going for me. I'm happy with my life, but let me tell you something. I'm so glad that and I'm not a rich man, but this is what I'm trying to say as far as when it comes to money, I don't have a lot of good things going for me. Other than that, I'm happy as hell with my life. Exactly. But I would never stoop to, I would feel so, I mean, I'd want to know what's going on in that dude's head where
Can you imagine?
Yeah, dude, listen, man, I'm a cheater. I'm good at it. You know, like that must be what, I just cheat, man. I've been doing it since I was a toddler.
It's probably not even for the cash. It's like for the glory.
I don't know. I can't imagine. Like, can you listen? You're an upstanding dude. I've known you my whole life.
Think of the work you'd have to go through.
Can you imagine like what kind of a personality goes up to the stage and goes, "Yeah, I'm a cheater. I'm a big time cheater, man. Yeah, I'll take everybody's money." And not have some kind of like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. Right. I couldn't live with myself.
You get at home and you're like, what are you doing?
Oh my God, this is the douchiest thing
you're
ever.
You're just living with that the rest of your life.
But. Yeah.
All right. Well, that being said, we got to wrap this up, but we are going to keep a close eye on that controversy because I'm interested to see how it's going to end.
Let's keep up with that, Pete. And you notice I don't have any beer left, so you know what that means. This podcast
is officially over. The sand has reached the end of the timer.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.